Welcome back to White Advice, the show where we don't just talk about money. We design a life that your capital can fund. And I'm Omari Whyte, and if you've listened to us before, you know my obsession is to create value for my private clients, owners, and their families through maximizing their return on invested capital, protecting them against non-financial risks, minimizing their lifetime tax bill, and delivering the estate outcomes that they actually want. So let's start off with one of my hardcore beliefs about money and wealth. Wealth isn't built by accident. It's built by intention. Markets matter, absolutely. But markets are only one engine of this machine. Real compounding happens when your investments, your tax plan, risk controls, and your estate blueprint all work together in a coordinated way. Think of your balance sheet like a business. Every dollar is an employee. Some are star performers, some get underutilized, and some, well, because of taxes, fees, or risk exposure, they actively act as a drag and hold you backward. My role is to align every dollar with a purpose, a timeline, and that expected return needed for our plans. So, return on invested capital really is thinking of it after tax and after fee and after risk. So return is an after risk, after tax, and after fee concept. That means placing assets in the right accounts. It means ensuring that your portfolio is built to produce the required return needed for the goal. How hard does your capital need to work? Making sure that there's not unnecessary volatility in your portfolio. Making sure every dollar in your plan compounds in the same direction. Return is not what you earn. Remember, return is what you keep. Protecting against your non-financial risks. Some of the biggest threats to wealth plans aren't the markets at all. It's all the blind spots. Things like having high concentration to your company's stock while you are employed there is risk exposure in your wealth. Liability exposure. What about if you can't make decisions and you're incapacitated? So capacity exposure is a real issue. And we're seeing more and more family governance issues are a real risk to wealth plans. And for our business owners, well, key person risk is also always an issue in partnerships and multi-shareholder constructs. So we build guardrails for our clients, not to limit you, but to preserve the upside that you've already earned. Protection is really a form of return because every dollar lost makes the compounding effect that much harder. So, even minimizing your current and your lifetime tax bill is an active part of creating wealth. Taxes are often the largest ongoing lifetime bill. So treating them like a design problem versus a filing event, I think, is where the opportunity is to have maximum after-tax results. We're managing taxes for our clients on a lifetime horizon, smoothing out their income throughout the decades of their retirement, strategically releasing capital gains and losses, and coordinating charitable intent, making sure that their later withdrawals, part of the plan, are not ill-affected by high tax rates, punitive tax rates, is all a part of our tax planning, tax program. A great portfolio with a poor tax strategy is like driving your car with the handbrake on. And I'm sure we'll agree that getting very far like that. And the estate outcome that you want is equally important to your wealth. How do you transfer with clarity? How do you transfer your assets in the most tax effective way? If you don't design an estate plan, the system has a default setting for you, which I'm going to hazard a guess no one would like. So we clarify, who should control what, when, and why, and match that intent with the structures that we need that ensure that your capital ends up where you want it and where it was going to be most valued, stewarded, and ultimately sustained, right? Because estate planning is not about documents, it's about outcomes. Here's the truth. Wealth grows fastest when it grows intentionally across investments, risk, tax, and estate planning. So before you make your next financial decision, ask yourself, does this increase my return on invested capital? Does it reduce my avoidable risk? inside of my investments and my wealth plan? Does it lower my lifetime tax bill? And does it move my estate plans forward to my intentions, to the outcome I desire? If it does neither of these, then it's time to rethink your strategy. If this episode resonated with you, we, in response to one of our clients, curiously asked us about a reel that they'd seen on Instagram where billionaires of tech firms, of course we know this current market is being led by 7 great tech firms, and the Musks and the Bezos of the world are starting to divest of their some of their stock. Now, it is a fraction of their total exposure to any of these companies. But of course, this liquidity event, the selling of their stock, created a lot of market news. And we were reminded that when we think of our wealth and how we're going to grow wealth and sustain the growth of our wealth, these types of market news, although exciting, really shouldn't have great impact on us if our plans are well framed. So if this episode resonates with you and you're ready to elevate your planning from perhaps a reactive current state to a strategic plan, then here's what you should do next. Subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode of any of our insights about how to grow wealth. And share this with anyone who you know as serious about building intentional wealth. And if you want to explore what your balance sheet looks like, your tax picture, and your long-term goals, let's have a conversation and let's build a plan that your future deserves. Till next time, and with intention, protect with purpose.